in this video, I'm going to show you how to do perfect corners. It's very important. I'm going to be using TeckWrap Autumn Blaze. It's a super matte film. This is it right here. It's a beautiful film. There's a lot of different corners as far as a car goes. So there's variations when it comes to actually doing corners. And I want to make sure that I can show you the correct way on how to do these corners. Doing corners on a vinyl wrap can make or break it. It's very important to be able to have nice edges, nice corners, and no pullback. I'm gonna start off with a few basics as far as corners go. I'm gonna show you like the front fender. I'm gonna show you the top area here, right where the quarter panel meets the actual fender itself, and any other areas that I can possibly do on this car right behind me. Now right behind me, I have an Audi A4, and I'm gonna show you as much as I can on an Audi A4 on how to do perfect corners. Again, doing perfect corners, it requires patience and understanding the product that you're working with. Now, TeckWrap Super Matte Autumn Blaze is a polymeric film. You know what? I love polymerics because you can actually shrink these films down around the object that you want to wrap. So I'm going to show you how to do that on these corners, like on the front fender, maybe on the hood, wherever else that you want to know. When I approach the front fender, I'm going to pop the hood up. Now we're going to take sample pieces of TeckWrap Super Matte Autumn Blaze, and we're going to apply this to areas. Now, again, this being a polymeric film, it's going to shrink when we add heat, even without stretch. This is a great benefit for us. We can use this to our advantage. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. I'll move the camera over and give you the best possible point of view when it comes to this. I pop the hood up. I'm going to lift it and get this vinyl out of the way. This is the piece that I'm going to be using. So let's lift the hood. Give me 2 seconds here. I'll move the camera over so everyone can see. Let's move the heat gun over as well. And let's get you guys into a really good position as far as perspective goes. Let me just angle the camera down a little bit more. There we go. And show you exactly what's going on here. Again, perfect corners make or break your wrap. So as you can see here, it's an insanely matte finished vinyl. The initial tack is high, but it's not impossible to use. It's actually, I find it's really nice to use. The pliability of the film is what I really enjoy. So that is a dirt line. I guess I touched some dirt from the vehicle. That's okay. We're going to move on. We're going to keep going towards the corner here. So again, I have my heat gun ready here. We're going to define this area. We want to make sure that we can see the corner. Now, what I normally do is trim some of this vinyl away. Okay, so I'm going to trim some of this vinyl away right under here. And that's going to make sure or ensure that my vinyl isn't touching the lights or any other areas that I don't want it to touch. Let me just trim this part away as well. I'm just trimming this away so that you can see, okay? I'm not trying to wrap the fender. I'm trying to show you how to do corners in this video. Okay, right now, there's 2 ways to do this corner. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this corner. One way is to take it as I have it right now. I put the film down very flat. I didn't even stretch it. I didn't do anything with the film, okay? We're going to let the film rest right here on that corner. Now, as you can see, when I push down on the corner, we're getting some of the film to wrap around that corner, which is nice. You know, it's makes things a little bit easier. The other part we want to take care of here is we want to make sure that the film is not touching the lights or any other area that's around the corner. If it's touching the light or any other area around the corner, I'll bring you in even closer. Let's get you really close so you can see everything as far as this goes. So I want you to see what's happening. So if the film is touching anything like the lights or the fender or anything else, or sorry, the fender, the inside of the hood area or the engine bay area, it's going to inhibit us from actually wrapping this corner really nicely. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just heat the film. So I'm going to turn my heat gun. It's set to max. Okay, I'm going to turn my heat gun on. I'll set it to max, and I'm going to heat the film. I'm going to start from my hands, and you're going to see the film drop down and around that corner. And all I'm going to do now is massage the rest of it down and around, okay? Now, if I get a wrinkle, which I did right there, right on the very bottom, I'm gonna heat this wrinkle and I'm gonna apply a little bit more pressure and roll that around as well. So this corner here, it has zero stretch on it. There's zero tension. So how do we check? This is the next step. How do we check to make sure that our corner is as nice as can be before we cut? So what I like to do is I like to actually take my squeegee and place it underneath the corner. So if we can actually place our squeegee underneath the corner like this, look at the corner. Now I can see the contrast between my squeegee and the corner. And you can see that the corner looks very round, right? That actually makes, how is TeckWrap for new installers? TeckWrap is honestly, a lot of beginners and a lot of new installers use TeckWrap, and they have amazing color options. It is more challenging, so it's actually going to make you better as an installer. It's not like the easiest vinyl in the world to use, but there are compromises that you make when it comes to easy to install vinyls. So easy to install vinyls usually suffer with the quality of their finishes. So that means their finishes are not as nice, or the thickness of the film isn't as durable, and so on. So I really enjoy this film. It's not the easiest to use, but it is nice and pliable, especially once you add heat, but it's pliable already right off the bat. Again, what I'm showing you right here, right now, is how to do these corners. So you can see right here, right now, that my corner looks totally and 100% smooth, right? All we have to do now is trim. I'm not over at Tech. I'm doing videos to show you guys how to do the installation as far as the film goes. In everything that I've done in my entire career, it is always to show you guys how to install film properly. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. I want you to win. And that's the goal here. So now that I can see the bottom edge of my corner, I'm going to poke my knife through that very end of the corner, and I'm going to trim very carefully around the underside of the corner. Now, some of you might be wondering, like, do I have enough vinyl to hold the vinyl down? Yeah, I have enough vinyl there to hold the vinyl down because I didn't stretch the vinyl to the corner. Just wait till I'm finished this. It's going to look absolutely incredible. So I'm going to trim that out, and we're going to add a little more heat because after I trimmed, I actually kind of pulled the film up a little bit. Yeah, go ahead and wrap your car. You know, this is a fascinating thing to do. You know, it's a wicked project that you can do on your own. It's a project that you can do for other people as well. And you know, you can wrap your car in any color, and it's removable. It comes off easily, safely, and you know, it's meant to be temporary. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat, and I'm going to apply a bit of pressure to the corner, and I'm going to show you what this corner looks like right up close and in person so that you can see how smooth this worked out to be without me even stretching the film around the corner. Now you guys can see, you check it out right now. You can see my corner. Let me put my blue squeegee behind the corner, and you guys can see what that actually looks like. So you guys tell me how much prep is recommended. You want to make sure that you absolutely strip your vehicle down to the max. When you say prep, you could be talking about disassembly. You could be talking about cleaning it. Two totally different categories for sure. I like to strip the vehicle down as far as body panels go and door handles, mirrors, trim pieces, and so on. Other people don't like to do that, so that really depends. But you want to make sure that the surface and the surrounding area is super clean. Like, you don't want to have any dirt, debris, or contaminants kicking around in the area, especially, or wax or grease on the surface, because those things will end up under the film and they will compromise the integrity of the actual film. Satin chrome doesn't like to stretch. Yeah, of course it doesn't like to stretch, but I didn't stretch this. So just so you know, I didn't stretch this vinyl. When this video is posted, you can go ahead and watch it. I didn't stretch this at all. I'm going to show you another variation on how to actually do this with stretch. Let's take this off. Let's remove the scrap pieces, and let's show you how to do it with a bit of stretch. So sometimes it's really beneficial, you know, depending on your level of expertise, But it's beneficial to actually take the film and stretch it towards the corner. I'm just gonna put that inside the engine bay area. Normally, you would not do that, just to let you know, don't do that. This is just for demonstration purposes to show you guys how to do this. I'm gonna take my piece of vinyl, again, I'm gonna put it on the fender. Again, we're not trying to wrap the whole fender. The purpose and the focus of this is just the corner. Let's take that, let's anchor it down as we were pretending to sort of wrap the actual fender. Now, what I would do if I was wrapping this fender is I would actually pull the film this direction, okay, towards the corner. Now check that out. When I actually landed on this corner, look at it, it's already very rounded. I didn't even do anything. All I did was pull the film this direction and make sure I expanded the film outwards. That makes a huge difference when it comes to installation and ensuring that you have a super clean finish when it comes down to it. Now down here, what I would do with the extra film is pull it down towards this corner. I have no idea if this corner is on camera, but that doesn't matter. I'm not really focused on this area so much. We're talking about these more challenging or more difficult corners, which are these ones here. This one down here is very easy. And I'm talking about that corner right there. All right, so let's do exactly more or less what we did before, except that this time all I did was stretch the film across the actual panel and expanded it outwards, and I landed with my fingers right here on the very corner. Let's trim out some extra vinyl. And let's come around this area here. Let's get all this extra material out of the way. Let's move that. Again, I'm not worried about this area down here. We're talking about this spot right here. Okay, so as you can see, look, check it out, guys. The film is already wrapping around the corner. I'm not even doing much right now. It's just doing it itself. Why? Because that is how I actually pulled the film towards that corner. Now, we're gonna get bunching because it's a round corner and we have a flat piece of film. So all we need to do now is add a little heat. The film is going to pre-shrink. So it's going to shrink on its own, and it's also going to shrink due to the fact that we stretched it. Now, if we see wrinkles in the corner, that's not good, but look, check that out. Look at that, just blows right down. And all we do now is massage the film down and around. And we're in this pretty much the same situation, except that this corner here versus the corner that I just did, this one's probably a little bit nicer looking, but it has tension on it. The last corner I did had no tension on it, but might have been a little bit less nice looking aesthetically. Now, to show you how this corner looks before I cut, check it out, right? This is a great way to test. Put your squeegee underneath the corner and you can see that that corner right there looks super nice, okay? You can see it's very round, looks beautiful. Ignore the dirt that's just coming off my hands. I'm not sure why. I'm just touching stuff inside the engine area. Now we're gonna trim around the corner and right underneath that actual corner, so like this, straight underneath it. We don't want to leave, if you leave extra vinyl or too much excess film around the underside of your corners, it ends up being problematic because the film actually falls off of the corner and it doesn't look very nice. So we want to make sure that we're actually heating the film to shrink it down around the corner and we're not leaving too much excess around that corner. So again, I'll just push the rest around for the heck of it, just to give you a better perspective here. Now this car's been repainted. So, you know, even though this paint job wasn't perfect, the corner looks magnificent. Let's bring the camera in again to show you exactly what we're looking at. I'm going to show you at least one other corner right now. Here we go. How's that look? You guys tell me. There's nothing to hide, okay? This is what you want. This is the goal. That's the objective, is to have really nice looking corners and edges. Again, ask me questions, guys. I have the television screen in front of me. I can answer questions for you. this is a really tricky spot actually. So let's do this area, right here. This is a very tricky spot to do. I have the hood up, whatever, we'll leave it up right now. I have a roll of masking tape. So the roll of masking tape is actually there to aid me or assist me in what I'm trying to do right now. I don't want to, let's fix the camera up a little bit there. So I don't want to stick or adhere to the outside area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off the actual pillar, and we're wrapping these top corners here on the fender. These are great corners to wrap. Does vinyl just stick with heat? Vinyl sticks when it sticks with heat, but it sticks when you actually stretch it properly. You have to stretch the vinyl properly if you're going to stretch it at all. If you don't stretch it properly when you are stretching it, then that means it can pull off of those corners or those edges, and you don't want that to happen. So we want to make sure that we're actually stretching the film in a way where it shrinks down and around those corners. This, installing a polymeric film, I'm just going to move the camera back slightly. Give me 1 second here. Installing a polymeric film like TeckWrap, we can actually use the shrinking ability of the film to our advantage. Again, ask me other questions, guys. I'm here now. This is the best time to do it. So again, this has the protective cap on it. We're going to remove it. Peel that off. Let's take the release liner off. Discard of that. And I'm going to apply this to this area right here. Now, again, we're focused on just those corners, nothing else. Do I need to do much as far as this goes? I didn't clean this, so there's a little tiny speck right there, just in case anyone saw that. I didn't clean this. I'm just wrapping over it as it is. And the vinyl will still stick, guys. Don't worry about it. It's just that you're going to run into, maybe some debris or some very small stuff. Awkward getting, can you ask that question again? Sorry, I can't actually scroll through these questions. It's very difficult to actually scroll through these questions. Let me try here. Let's see what we can do. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I can't see. Unfortunately, I can't see the questions. I can't see all the questions. All right, does the wrap get stretched in the process of it being made? Should you shrink it right off the roll for 0% stretch? That's a good question. Okay, so I'm sure the rest of you can see that. Okay, so the question is right there in front of you. Do you need to shrink the film right off of the roll? No, not necessarily. We don't need to shrink the film off of the roll. We need to actually just make sure that the edges and the corners have shrunk down. So that's a really good question. Once the edges and the corners have shrunk or have shrinking down, we don't have to worry about the film retracting. Sorry, let's bring the camera over a bit. We don't have to worry about the film shrinking in this area here. The film cannot shrink in this area here. It cannot drag itself across. So if we have an area right over here, about 1 inch or less even, maybe a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, even that amount, if it's already been pre-shrunk or we've pre-shrink the film, this means that the edge is not going to pull back anymore, which means that anything that's inside of here cannot pull back because this is very relaxed. It cannot get any more relaxed than that. And that is a super important thing to remember. Great question though. Let's see what the other question was. Give me 1 second. For deep corners and cut and folds, better options if you can get it nice all the way down. All right, so that's another good question. Sometimes, depending on the type of vinyl that I'm using, I will use a cut and a fold. It just depends. It depends on the corner style, and it depends on the type of film that I'm using. So let's say I was using a chrome film from TeckWrap, I would be doing a cut and fold more likely. It's rare that I wouldn't be doing a cut and fold because a cut and fold maintains the integrity of the chrome. At the same time, you're able to wrap around the corner extremely nicely, like super nicely, without overstretching the film again and distorting that color. Let's do this, guys. Let's do it right here. So I did not stretch this whatsoever, right? This is what it is. It's sitting right here. Let's cut this right across, I'm cutting on the tape. This is why I put the tape there. I put it there deliberately for a reason. I'm going to take my scrap piece of vinyl, just stick it right there. Now, oftentimes I do wrap this area with the hood down, so I'm actually going to just trim this area out as straight as it, or as crooked as it might be. Doesn't matter right now. Again, we're focused on the corners. I'm going to bring the camera in to show you closer on what I'm doing right now. So let's do it from right here. Now, in here, behind the fender, this can be a little bit challenging. We want to make sure that we're wrapping all of the red paint. Now, a lot of times you can lift off of the tape and you can actually tuck the film in a little bit. I don't recommend doing that without pre-shrinking the film. So I'm going to take my heat gun and I'm going to heat this area right here. Watch this. But at the same time, I'm going to put this corner down and around before I heat this area. Why? Because I want to put this down while it's cold so that it shrinks down and around this corner. See what I'm doing? I didn't put any heat here, and I just want the film to shrink down around here naturally. Now I'm lifting the film off of this panel right here, making sure that it's not sticking. If it's sticking, that's a bad thing because it's going to resist us. Let's add some heat. Let's do it. Look at that. Watch it round off. Look at that. It's beautiful. Look how nice that is. So that we focused on that corner right there, I'm going to take the hard edge of my squeegee and I'm just going to massage that down and around very slightly the rest of the way. Doesn't take much. Okay, so to show you what we're looking at again as far as the corner goes, I'll put my squeegee right behind the corner. Look at it. Right? You can see how round that corner is. And I did not stretch this vinyl at all. Can you guys see it? I hope you can. Let's do across here and the rest of the way. So again, what I will do is take my film, press it in, down and around. You really have to understand the films that you're working with, okay? This makes things so much easier when you really understand what you're actually working with. When you understand how a polymeric film responds to heat, you got it. Like you're gonna totally get this. Okay, so I'm lifting that off of the actual pillar right here. I'm gonna heat inside that area there. We're gonna come down in here. Again, you can see the film is shrinking. I didn't even do anything. Check that out right here, all in there. It's all shrinking down. I'll take my finger, roll that around, and boom, it's all done. Okay, this is all done in here. This is all done in here as well. Before I cut, I'm gonna let the film cool very slightly, just to make sure that I'm not cutting hot film. Cutting hot film is not the way to go. You wanna make sure that you're cutting the film when it's a little bit cooled down. Now, again, my knife, I try to run it on the back side edge, right there. Check that out. That's where you want it. The sharper your knife, the nicer this cut. We don't need to have a lot of extra vinyl. If we have too much extra vinyl in this area here, we're going to run into a problem of having bunching around that edge. So just cut that out in the way. Yes, this is a little bit messy right here, right now. We're going to fix that. Watch. That only happened because I cut it and I was kind of pulling against the film at the same time. Let's come right in here. We always add heat at the end, guys. It's unquestionable. You have to. I'll show you one example of a cut and fold right after this. And unless anyone else has any other questions, I'm going to call it a day. So let's do it. Let's add heat, okay? Let's check it out. I'm not going to touch this right now. I'm going to just heat it. Check it out. Okay, so some of that went down. Some of that got better. You can maybe see a couple of really tiny wrinkles there. Push them. Heat them, push them. Heat them, push them. They're gone. They're absolutely 100% gone. These are not visible to any human eye at all because they're just not there anymore. Let's take the buffer side of our squeegee and let's get in and around the top side here. The same thing goes over on this corner here. A little bit of heat. I go really close and really fast with my heat gun. And I have my heat gun again set to the maximum temperature because I like the film to respond very quickly. Check that beautiful corner out right there. That looks great. We're happy with that. Again, I'll put my squeegee behind it so that you can see what you would see from the outside of the vehicle. Okay, this is you guys are about 20 inches away. Let's get you even closer. Let's to bring you in even more. That's about as close as I can get the camera right now. Here, let's do it. Okay, so that's what the corner looks like right there. I hope you guys can see it. It's about as good as it gets. Doesn't really get better than that. We took a flat piece of vinyl and we wrapped it around the corner. So now let's move on to a cut and a fold. So where or why would I do a cut and a fold? Let's take the cut and fold area. I like to come actually to the back section of the vehicle. Let's do that. Let's go right back here. This is a great area for a cut and folds. Right there. Right by the tail light. So let's show you what I'm going to do as far as this goes. It's a fun little spot. I'm kind of far away from the TV, so I may not see all the questions, but again, feel free to ask the questions that you'd like to ask. Let's take our piece of vinyl, our sample piece, and I'm going to show you how to do a cut and a fold. This, again, is one of my favorite areas here and sometimes here, but usually here is my favorite area, or even here to do a cut and a fold. Again, I didn't clean this, so you might see some very small imperfections in the actual wrap itself. Don't even worry about that. Peeled off the protective cap. Okay, so I'll explain why I want to do a cut and a fold. So let's pretend that this quarter panel is fully wrapped. We're just going to pretend right now to keep the video within reasonable time. I have to grab my heat gun, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this right now, okay? This is the critical spot. Let's grab the heat gun and bring it over. All right. Now, why do you want to do a cut and a fold here versus the corner on the actual fender? The difference here is that, so this metal goes in very far underneath. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Let's kind of move you around a little bit. So the thickness of the metal here is much thicker. While on the fender, it's not very thick. Like the fender, the metal on the fender, or even the top of the fender or the front of the fender ends right where my squeegee is. But this one goes down and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. It's part of the actual body of the vehicle. While the front fender is fully removable, right? So this is my explanation for it right now. So we want to draw the line somewhere when it comes to how far in we're going to wrap. We don't want to wrap all of, behind the taillight and all of this stuff all in here, unless of course someone is paying for it, but it's actually completely useless and it doesn't even make any sense. Now, I didn't really stretch this film, so let's just see what happens when I add heat. So we're going to heat the polymeric TeckWrap, and you're going to see it shrink down and around, okay? I didn't do anything. I just heated the film. What I'm going to do now is massage the film right now to a point. So here's where we're going to do our cut and fold, right here. Do you see right here how this section comes to a crease? Well, I can make that crease down here also, so I can make it there. I want this piece, it can be here, it's totally fine if it's here. But I want it to be as least visible as possible because I'm doing a fold, right? So a fold essentially turns into a bit of a wrinkle. But it's not a wrinkle, it's a fold. Let's do it down here and let's cut right at the peak of this fold, right there, okay? Super sharp blade. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take one side, we're gonna fold this around, okay? We're gonna trim off the excess film, done. And then we're going to take the top side right here and we're going to fold this top side down and around. I'm using pressure with my index finger to help aid that around. Now check out the corner, okay? Now you guys are super close. I'm going to add a bit of heat. There is a slight fold. I'll point it out to you. I don't even know if you can see it. Let's add heat. Once I add heat, you're probably not going to see very much of it at all. It's insane, right? So right there, right at the end of my blade is the folded piece of film. I'll bring the camera in even closer for you guys to see because I want you guys to see as much as possible. I don't want to hide it. Let's bring the camera down, right? So I'll show you right now that the fold is right there at the end of my blade. There are techniques, tips, and tricks which I will save for other videos. Yo, what's up? I will save for other videos, but there's a way to make this fold right here even less visible. That's going to be in a very specialized video for you guys. So stay tuned for more videos. Now, when I want to take the rest of this is a beautiful corner. Like no one in the world is going to complain about this. This is a vinyl wrap, right? It's a sticker. I just took a flat sticker and wrapped it around that corner and made it look absolutely 100% beautiful. Okay, and then the rest is super easy. You know, we just go around and so on and so on and so on. We'll do more videos like this though. This is supreme, right? So I'm gonna bring you in. I'm gonna take the camera off of the tripod. Let's do that. And show you exactly what this corner looks like as close as possible, because I want you to see it. Okay, check it out. Here's the fold, okay? So even a different perspective right there. This is the fold right there. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'm looking at a 4-inch screen. You guys could be looking at something else. That's the fold right there. Now, if I close this trunk, let's do it. What's visible, what's not visible, okay? Once the tail light goes back once the tail light goes back, that's what we could potentially see, just this. So sometimes you do have to use a cut and fold. It depends on the finish, it depends on the color, it depends on the corner, on where you use these, but they are possible. They are a corner variation, and I do like to use them in certain areas that are unseen. We want to make sure that the areas the cut and fold is being used is 100% unseen or mostly unseen, because we want our wrap aesthetically to look the best that it possibly can. You know, like if the wrap doesn't look clean from the exterior side, then that's obviously a problem. You know, we want our wrap to look as clean as possible from the exterior side. Sometimes maybe behind an edge, behind the corner, behind some areas that are never seen, it might not be so perfect, but that's for the greater good. That's to ensure that the part that is seen by the eye is as perfect as possible. And if you go ahead and dig and look into certain areas that are never actually seen normally, yeah, you're gonna find some stuff. But again, I hope that this video was informative and helpful in showing you guys how to do perfect corners. I'm gonna check out right now. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it does help you down the road to do better at wraps and just be better and be greater at doing it. I want you guys to be great at it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Take care.